Yeah, DK Techies, it's kind of mean, I'll be honest. Peacock was so obnoxious in the last game. I do like that Mr. Machine, with their pick priority here and seeing the Storm taken out, might as well try and steal the Bane. Bane's been such an important factor for so many teams in this Pro Series,
Ooh.
and I love that. That is the Timbersaw versus the DK. That is the counter. That is the uncomfortableness that now 8 is going to have to deal with, and Tib should have a really nice time.
Timber is one of the more hotly contested heroes for a very good reason here, and the cut, to be honest, don't really miss on their first two bans either. Taking out the Storm or the Dusa, it's just kind of the nature of the meta right now. Ban out so many of them. So Mystery Machine get the Timbersaw in their hands, and see them now in phase two of the bans actually taking aim at maybe a couple of the offlaners on the other side, just in case the DK is going to be moved. So take away that Beastmaster, could see them just maybe ban out something like the Mars as well, because if you could push aid onto something like the Legion Commander from the last game, he was not really able to do a whole lot with that. So honestly, this time around, I feel like if the cut are forced into that situation, then you just put him on the DK and deal with the consequences, because that LC was very underwhelming.
Yeah, he was struggling. He really, in very similar fashion to Mariano, was unable to play that pickoff-oriented style. Was taking a lot more farm as well from his other heroes, and of course they were ahead. They kind of had the control in the game, but yeah, it was not the cleanest game, let's say. At that same time, though, you do have Timber versus DK. That much is secured. You're not going to see this DK shifted over to the 4 position either. He is going to have to sit in it, and I do think that's where, in banning out Scourge's hero pool, you should find another advantage if you can. Look at heroes like the Monkey King, like the Ursa. Really take your pick at what you don't want to play against if you're Tib. Batrider is an interesting one. Of course, very obnoxious hero. Covers your DK if you're the cut, but at the same time, also gives you that kill potential onto the Timber. Not to mention, it is probably Kit's best hero. He's a dirty little Batrider player in pubs. Not the nicest, friendliest fellow, but at the same time, just really try to get, I think, another good carry matchup for Double King. I think it's the first time we've seen Mystery Machine have an advantageous carry matchup for Double King. Usually he's on the harder farmer, he's on the less useful hero, he's on the hero that also needs to farm but can't afford to farm because he loses the matchup if he takes too much time. And I really feel like avoiding that pitfall is going to be step one for them in this next phase.
In the meantime, one last ban for the cut in phase two, as they will take away the Keeper of Light, and now we'll see what the call is going to be from them in terms of, well, right now they could just take a second support, and
Pugna?
yeah,
Yeah.
it's about as simple as it gets. The Pugna for them. The Enchantress, though, coming out from the Mystery Machine. That's a hero that hasn't received too much ban attention outside of maybe teams like Nouns, who sort of have a specialist, but Mystery Machine will pick it up. That does mean between Bane and Enchantress, someone has to shift up to the 4, so I don't really think that's going to matter for them overall. They're still going to be happy if this Enchantress can be that annoying presence in the lane.
And Enchantress certainly will be. Also puts into questions whether or not the cut need to pick up a hero to deal with the creep push that is going to come in at you early. Also weakens up the mid lane a little bit more if we do see Maliburgos able to make those rotations very early on, get lucky, maybe get a Troll Warlord Summoner, get very early damage on with those skeletons. We've seen it, I think, 2 or 3 times already. When you get a very successful Enchantress, it just kind of works, and you don't really need to do very much. It's almost like an autopilot hero. And Invoker, okay. There are some very good heroes on Mystery Machine's side. I'm very pleased with what they're picking up here. Of course, it is an Invoker a little bit blind here. There is still the threat of at least one of the spirits still around here if the cut want to go for it. At the same time, this puts Kit in a position where will we see him go for the immediate draw? Do we want him to play the DK? DK versus Invoker is actually not too bad of a lane for the DK. At the same time, though, any DK in a core position is going to be a liability for you with that Timbersaw on the deck as well. I also feel like it's where the cut kind of needs someone to deal damage right now. Could see them go for a hero like, I don't know, maybe the Leshrac, where draws the lane versus the Invoker, but also is able to get under towers and deals pretty well with the creeps. But they need someone to actually play with this Pugnus specifically, someone who's going to take full advantage of having the little green men running around.
Well, See what the choice is for them. It kind of feels like at this point, not 100% sure that there's a hero that does both of those things, or at least doesn't do them both well enough. So that may just have to choose one point of emphasis and maybe let the other one slip a little. But
No, it's just the
okay.
spirit. Well, that's certainly a better hero at killing the Invoker, but uh, unfortunately, when it comes to killing Timbersaw, this is still a really great Timbersaw game. I think that's going to be a point of concern for the cut. But now we're in this awkward situation where both teams need their carry. We've got 4 bans. Mystery Machine get the first pick. I feel like they're really happy with where their drafts landed them up.
They are the ones who sort of seem to be in the driver's seat right now, as much as you can be during the draft. So see what they look to ban away here. Yeah, at this point, you really are just looking at the Scourge hero pool. So they start with the Luna. Meanwhile, on the cut side of things, it's pretty much the same situation, really. Both teams have just saved that carry option for last. Nobody can really shift up here position-wise. So what do they look for? Had to deal, or yeah, they had to deal with the Prophet before. It's already been banned out. They'll ban out the Phantom Lancer as well, so we'll see neither of those carries from the previous match making a return. And Mystery Machine, okay. That is an interesting one. To ban out the CK, you do have the Timber Saw, so if they were to pick the CK up on the cut side, you'd be fighting into it, but maybe they don't want to have to rely too much on the Timber to be sort of the end-all be-all counter for them.
Yeah, and they banned the Wraith King. Wow, that is interesting from Scourge. I feel like if they really wanted to, Ursa's in the game. If they really need to have that win versus the DK, of course, versus techies, that hero is a little bit scary. You do right click very quickly with the overpower, so it's not like the mines are really too much of a problem, but it is just you getting in and out and playing versus a natural disable. The DK Tiny. That's
Okay.
what they stake it all on. An Alacrity DK Tiny. So, got that little bit of a boost, but have not seen too many other teams pick up that Tiny in the carry position. Again, got the talents reworked a little bit. The 15 is now the 20, the 20 is now the 15. Both got nerfed, and you did get that building damage nerfed at all levels earlier on for that tree grab. Same time, though, he is just Tiny. You get that Echo Saber, you build that Silver Edge, and I think that's where Mystery Machine, at the end of the day, no matter what carry they picked, they wanted a natural Silver Edge carrier. And yep, and then there's the Ursa. So thought it would have been a nice deal for Mystery Machine, but they're banking it all here on this double King Tiny, and I hope it works out. And as we always say, Timbersaw doesn't really have a bad lane, even though he is playing versus an Ursa, but this is also quite the nice hole for Scourge to play in.
Yeah, I mean, on the one hand, like you said, the Timbersaw's probably not going to have a bad lane, but unless he plays insanely aggressively, there's not a whole lot he's going to be able to do to Scourge either. So this lane should be okay, and well, we'll see if Scourge can emulate the Stonebank Ursa from earlier today, because that Ursa was fighting well, farming well, very rarely dying, and just really being too much for the opposing team to handle. So Scourge has some shoes to fill, I suppose, if you want to think of it that.
Yeah, and well, the only reason it's taken so long is Overwhelm still needs to lock in on his hero, but that is where I think, in the same breath, seeing what Shaggy can do, seeing him on the Invoker, it's not a spirit, but he's very, very comfortable on the hero. Hope we can see that same laning performance we know from him, and kind of need to, because again, the game kind of begins and ends with his rotations, and now that you've got this Bane and Enchantress support duo, you're going to get a little bit more support than you otherwise would from your 4, but it really is just what they can do as a 4 core, how much space they can make for Double King. And if Double King can join the game at the right time, I could see them snowball it.
That is going to be the sort of operative phrase, though, right? For Double King, is that he has to join at the right time so that he can sort of maximize that impact without falling prey to that sort of issue that we saw, I think, from some of the South American teams that have recently picked up the Tiny, where you get something like your early Blink or your early Echo, and you find one or two pickoffs, and you start thinking that this hero is doing exactly what you want it to, and then those pickoffs suddenly stop, and your Tiny wasn't farming, and all of a sudden you've just got very little to work.
And hey, that was mid tiny, right? This
That's
is
true.
this is a different beast. Maybe we'll get to see him farm and spread his wings a little bit more here. Very good stack taker as well, you know. And we will have to see which type of tiny coming out from
I didn't
DK.
expect you to be
Have
so
not seen a
cool.
lot
You're
of the
so
Chinese or
nice.
SEA teams still picking up this hero. It's where unfortunately he did see quite a drop off just because teams are not willing to risk losing any games here midway through a tournament, midway through a patch. Might as well just take the safer bet, say he's too bad for us right now, so we're just going to ignore him. But whether it's the Echo Saber, whether it's an Echo into Blink, whether it's an Echo into Shard, whether it's a Soul Ring into Moon Shard, Double King is going to have options in this game.
Yeah, like you said, options in terms of the build, so we'll see what he has planned, or maybe
Your
even what
exercise
the
was healing.
specifics of this game sort of dictate to him in terms of how things look in the first 5 to 10 minutes. But either way, it will be interesting, and Stream Machine will be really tiny no matter what option he chooses to go for. But with that being said, we do get this one underway after the pause. 5-man smoke out from the cut, trying to drop some early vision as Overlom is going to be able to throw one in there, and this is a bit of a different location than we're used to seeing, so maybe that'll throw TMM for a loop here and they won't be able to deep.
Yeah, and well, still has to be pretty careful. It's always the Radiant word that gets lost if they do actually make it over towards that little nook that we always talk about where they stuff themselves into. But at the same time, they're not going to traverse and instantly place that sentry. But unfortunately, hey guys, they see what you're doing. They've got full knowledge of this. Don't think they're going to care all too much either. And Kits is going to have his small camp be protected now.
Just sort of sitting here watching as you see the Cut's vision. Just Empyrean standing on one side, Kit standing on the other. Of course, Empyrean doesn't really care, but it is what it is. We'll see if anyone comes by to try and affect this vision situation later. For now, though, Rune's spawning in a few seconds. Empyrean's going to push forward, immediately decides he doesn't actually want to be there once he sees 3 heroes. So, no fight, even exchange on the runes 2 for 2, and we're just going to get straight to the laning
You're
stage.
so nice.
Yeah, and who knows what's going to happen. I feel like a lot of these lanes are free. I feel like it is going to be up to the rotation of that Enchantress and whether or not you're going to be able to see those easy creeps come out for him. If he misses, though, a game could be a little bit more difficult.
Taking a look at the taking a look at the top lane right now. I am interested to see if Aiden Bgod try to get a little bit aggressive here. I mean, they kind of did that the last time around. They did have the Legion Commander instead of the DK, but while DK maybe has a little less damage output than the Legion Commander, you do have more in the way of lockdown if he opts for the Dragon Tail, so could see what comes their way. Level 1 Dragon Tail might not be the play for them in the slightest, but later on, they could try to get some aggression down onto this Bane. Maybe not onto Double King. Tiny's going to be a little bit harder for them to actually attack significantly.
And they've done a good job of kind of waiting out here, and then Aid got the range creep deny. It's been very patient from Double King as his courier. Yeah, it's a little bit unfortunate. And do they get the double deny here, or are they just going to right click the Tiny? Yeah, it's another very good laning stage, I think, for both Aid and B-God. This Tiny is just that much more obnoxious, and at least in the DK, you can lose a lane with an LC. With the DK, though, Aid is always going to have a really free time.
No matter what, he's just going to have the armor and regen to sort of stay
Oh,
in this lane. As over in the middle lane, Nice Shaggy is getting kind of aggressive here. Onto Kits, trying to burn through some of that early regen, and, well, here's the thing. The aggression is there. It's burning through some of that regen, as I said, but Kits is absorbing those hits and just staying focused on last hits. 8 and 3 for him so far, so kind of a trade-off there. Shaggy does sort of get that damage in, but really slow up the farming rate.
yeah, and that's where in this matchup you do kind of get to trade spells even if you don't hit with the mana burn. you are going to be able to force that to simulate pretty much every time you decide to go for that commitment on the cold snap. But it's a pretty even trade, all things considered. And it's also where if you have to do exactly that, make sure you get those ranged creeps with the tornado, then Shaggy is actually the one that will start to fall behind a little bit here. But I think it's also where for Team M, going to be very important to keep this bottle as empty as possible. If they can really remove those runes from the Void Spirit, then Shaggy should be able to slow him down.
That's kind of the standard way to play against really any spirit in that lane. Just try and keep those runes out of his hands as Scourge. Taking a little bit of extra damage there from those shots from Molly Burgos, and this is pretty much what we expected the second we saw this Enchantress, right? He's just going to be so obnoxious, look for creeps, get some damage in with the impetus, and, well, the only problem with this lane is that really their only lockdown is the slow from your Enchantress. Other than that, they're not really working.
Yeah, it's a little bit obnoxious as Overwhelm.
Wait,
Does he just get right click down?
second, there it is. Oh, there it isn't. Okay. Overlom lives. The wolf is not going to get the job done either, and your Pugna has to sort of step out of lane, but you don't give up first blood.
Yeah, but you have kind of axed yourself here, as I also see in the mid lane. Oh, they're so low.
God.
Nobody gets the kill, and the 4 minute is gonna really stabilize this lane in for Kits here. But goodness gracious, nobody wants to be alive.
Let's see. Rune. Yeah. It's his hands. Ollie takes the other one, though, so Shaggy might be in a little bit of danger if Kits is willing to push in, but he misses with the Remnant, and now with Molly Burgos arriving, and now you need that to simulate to get away. So, Enchantress coming over just to make sure everything was going to be okay there with the Inhibitor, and honestly, it should be just fine. The Quas regen should keep him relatively safe, because Kits no longer has the mana to go for another aggressive play.
Yep. And
Double King?
yeah.
Just die up here. Can Aid get close enough? He's got Breathe Fire. He could just do this right now. Okay. Knows what I know. You can just get it done with the right clicks instead. Save the mana, and now they're able to turn around onto Empyrean. They hit him up with the Dragon Tail. The bomb will explode. B-God does still die, but it's a double kill for your Dragon Knight.
No, Aid is just rocking this lane. He's pulling ahead in last hits. He's getting really past the hard part of DK. Once he hits level 5, there really is not much you can do. Probably going to get a second point up in the Dragon's Blood if he's not too aggressive. But yeah, this is not what you wanted. You wanted pulls to get off. You wanted to pull the lane back. You want to sit under your tower as much as possible on this Tiny. And unfortunately, Aid's just always got the lane where he wants it to be.
In the meantime, a bit of a congregation going on over here in the middle lane. Both of the supports for Mystery Machine have rotated over, and the B-God is here on the cut side as well. So all of a sudden, you got 5 heroes hanging out mid. Not really going to turn into much of anything, although as I say that, Empyrean, be a little bit careful, but it isn't level 6 yet. Without that Astral, he can't really close that gap, and nothing really comes of that, all things considered.
Yeah, kind of just a lot of nothing. You know, at the very least, you force Kits back all the way to the base, right? He is almost level 6, almost hiding the fact that he's going to be level 6 in a second here, but at the same time, 6-minute runes, gives over to the techies. B-God's pretty happy with himself. Does need to be careful here on the low ground, walking into this vision. Maybe he gets hit up by Mally Burgos a little bit, but as for B-God, actually, he wants this fight. He's going a little bit loco.
Ooh.
Oh!
Need 1 or 2 more
And
hits. Not going to be able to get it. Now Shaggy's wrapping around. Scourge will still secure that kill. Shaggy actually get anything, though. Maybe it's the Centaur that actually get the job done. B-God's 1 hit away. Shaggy, though, is kind of tunnel visioning for this one a little bit, and he will find the kill with the Tornado, but now he has to deal with Scourge and Overlom, who really aren't going to chase that far. The Ursa doesn't want to get involved and leave the lane for a significant amount of time, but he didn't really pass that message along, as Overlom is still stuck in the fight, and Shaggy just turns around for a double.
Yeah, and even though Kits was motioning himself over, well, you don't have vision, you don't have dust, you're not able to take him out, and Tib is keeping his card alive. He's putting pressure on Scourge, and Scourge is not level 6. He needs to kill a creep, but he is just going to kill himself instead. That is so sick. What a timing.
Oh, Scourge, that's... well, I don't want to say karma, but yeah, first he sort of tries to get back to the lane, leaves Overlom there to die, and then has to deal with those remaining heroes then coming over to him, and Maybe part of the reason why he leaves Overlom is because he realized he was so close to 6, but he still couldn't get the experience, and now Mystery Machine... They should get this tower as long as these heroes stick around, but they're not really doing so. Never mind, Molly's coming back. Okay. They will still get the tier 1.
Yeah, still get it, and then as soon as they get it, should either immediately run at mid with Tib or defend the top tower. Yeah, he will defend top and aid. Well, this is your matchup. This is your obnoxious lane that, well, it is obnoxious for both sides, to be honest, but you are going to be able to pressure up aid quite a lot, even though Kits here for Empyrean should be able to get the Bane.
Find the kill. Do they want to try and put more pressure onto Tib? They throw the bomb onto him at least, but at this point it feels like this is more to just push him off the tower, although with how low his health is, maybe they could kill him, but now a TP's coming in, Shaggy's going to arrive, and I think it's time for the cut to try and clear out of here, but Kits is kind of still stuck in between. He loses his courier first. Aid was able to at least get the tower, so even if somebody gets caught here, they found the objective that they wanted, but they do pull out with the cores. Now it's just a matter of whether B-God is going to get away, and nobody's actually chasing him, so he should be just fine.
Yeah, it's a little bit awkward, a little bit strange, but I think at the end of the day, Aid getting his tower, now he can move around the map a little bit more freely. He's looking towards that Blink Dagger. He will not leave his lane until that Blink Dagger is most likely done, and then suddenly we'll have a DK in our game here. It is just a little bit unfortunate that you do have now Scourge struggling to find a place for him to farm, because he cannot go versus the Invoker, and neither can Overlom, which is a very dead Pugna.
Up, they take down his ward. They might be able to get some damage onto this tower as well. They've got a creep wave coming up, and that Hellbear Smasher's still alive for a little bit, but Scourge will arrive, and the Glyph will be popped. So now if you're TMM, this is going to get a little bit complicated. Not sure if they really want to push in any further, but at least still keeping their options open. They're thinking about it. Empyrean, if he were level 6, they might just go straight in, but don't have that option at the moment, and now more heroes are TPing over. Overlom will arrive, Tornado EMP takes away all of Scourge's mana, basically, but that's still not something Mystery Machine can go all the way in.
You know, they're kind of just poking, prodding. It really is just the Mystery Machine creating this area of the map that nobody wants to play around. At the same time, the smoke is a little bit strange from them. Empyrean's not level 6. They'd love to find a support. And going so deep for Scourge, they might actually find him. But yeah, looping around on the rune makes sense to be guys there. But oh, Shaggy!
Oh,
He missed.
it's a little bit off the mark. They're still in a potential position to try and chase this kill, but now with Kits coming over, it's not going to be easy, and they're going to lose Empyrean. I don't think Shaggy has the damage to just clean this up. Burgos is going to come over, looking to help out, and that should dissuade the cut from going further, but now Tib wants in, chaining his way across the river. Going to jump in onto Overlom. Decrep's going to buy some time, but not nearly enough. Shaggy finds the kill, and they do sort of make that happen eventually, but as you said, it was just kind of a weird smoke, and the problem with your Bane dying there is that he's still not level 6. Just somebody park Empyrean in a lane somewhere and get him his Fiend's Grip.
Yeah, it's a little strange, a little weird, but Aid,
Oh boy.
unfortunately, yeah, he travels all the way into the wrong lane and well, needs a little bit more damage. Tibbs trying to time it out, times it very nicely, and Burgos, he's still going forward. He got the DK, but this is still really bad. Need to run away now.
Tib is trying to make his way out. Shaggy and Empyrean, though, are going to get caught, but Empyrean hits 6. He's going to turn around, drops the Fiend's Grip. They find the first kill. They get a second there onto B-God. And Overlom will finally clean up Empyrean, but now he might pay for it. Here come Shaggy and Tib looking for another round of fighting, and they will win that fight. All of that changes because they got the man his level 6. Very nicely done by Empyrean to help swing that fight.
Yeah, it just really well played. Also, the almost hero play as the mine was still there. He gets hit up by it, you know, the techies runs up, places the remote, and then there's not much you could do about that. But also, Tib knowing to go back in, knowing he was safe, it was really well communicated, really well played, and unfortunately for the cut, Scourge was in no position to make that play over onto his teammates. He's going for it. That's a Diffusal Blade build, and I believe he does have it coming out on the courier right now, but was in no position in regards to his mana, so you can't make the play happen. And I think that's where maybe we'll see more from Scourge. He could do Roche with this build much easier than the Battle Fury build, but that's also where level-wise, maybe he's 1 or 2 points shy of having that max overpower, and he might not do it because of that.
He's got some more damage. I believe, there it is. They got themselves a Blink Dagger up on 8 as well, so It's going to open up the door for a little bit more aggression from them. However, it's TMM who are actually getting aggressive right now, and this would be a massive play if they could get in onto him. They spot the Ursa, they're going to hit him up with the cold snap, and, well, what are they setting up here? Okay, Nightmare so that they can get the EMP, but they really didn't actually need it. They've just got enough damage to find the pickoff beforehand, and, well, Scourge is now dead. Maybe his teammates, though, can make some sort of counterplay, because they've spotted Double King. Actually, Double King spotted them first. Gets the Avalanche out, and we'll simply walk away.
Yeah, a little bit strange. Yet again, not seeing Aid really able to make that blink connect. No ward either when they go for that smoke, or at least not on the techies, so it's not like they can just immediately place the ward, go for the kill onto him. At the same time, felt like they probably would have needed kits if they actually wanted to go for it, even though Double King was very low. And Double King says it will be the Moon Shard. He's going to get it, and he is going to be a very scary Tiny.
It's a build that's starting to catch on a little bit more in popularity over here in the NA and SA regions, but he's not quite there yet. But yeah, like you said, once he gets it, this is going to be a terrifying Tiny. Once he gets the Shard as well in the next couple of minutes, it's just going to do so much damage. See what the Cut's response to that will be, as Scourge is at least pushing his way forward, but he's still not very fast on this Ursa, so going to be able to close that gap just yet. Meanwhile, Tib just shadowing Kits a little bit here. Not going to turn into a fight, but just trying to make sure that the Void Spirit hasn't sort of maybe slipped away to make a rotation.
Yeah, and in regards to those hero pairings, we still do want to see that Timbersaw make his way eventually back onto the DK. It's another smoke by both BGod and Aid. I do wonder if they want to get Scourge maybe involved a little bit more, see if there is actually going to be necessary for these kills top. They'd love to find their way onto the supports here, but something tells me this is going to be another whiff. Empyrean is venturing onto the low ground here, and he does have that grip, but I don't feel like there's enough damage between these heroes. It's where I feel like if BGod was perhaps the Scarith Mage, we'd see that seamless kill into just running away, the immediate disengage. But now, yet again, smoke up from Mystery Machine. They'd love to find any core here, and on the mid lane, Kits needs to be so careful here. He might break the smoke, though, and that is unfortunate from Empyrean. Just the worst way that really could have happened for him. But at the same time, they get to meet up with the rest of their teammates, and now the Cut are the ones that have to question themselves, well, what are we doing right now? Are we going to get to Roche soon? Are we going to make this play? Burgos is running at BGod in the triangle. Is this too far? Maybe.
Yeah, just a little bit there. I don't think he realized Scourge was in the area until it ended up being too late, so unfortunate if you're Burgos. This is where things are going to start to hurt a little bit more, though. Shaggy's going to get hit up in the middle lane, but the defensive Nightmare will be there to try and buy him some time. They went in with the Fiend's Grip as well, but it was canceled by the Tornado. But if they can get onto Kits, they'll still be happy with the kill because he has no mana, no spells left to work with. They will turn that into a very valuable trade. Burgos goes down, but they get a core kill. And Tib's kind of posturing like he could potentially go in again. This would be a little risky from him, though, but let's see what they can do. They've got the Ursa hit up with the Cold Snap as well as the Spirit Vessel, so he's a little bit of help from his teammate. Yeah, Overlom is going to be there. The Pugna comes in to heal, and it's a bit of a reset on this fight.
Yeah, but hey, space created. The DK is just able to put so much damage onto this tier 2 bottom. Kits is actually the one that needs to respond here. I don't know if I'm happy with this if I'm the Cut. I feel like we're kind of falling behind here. They also want their early Roche pretty much yesterday. They don't want to be buying these Ag Shards. They want to just get them gifted to themselves. At the same time, until we get this Blink Dagger on Scourge, we're not really seeing that burst damage. But yeah, well, Kits is out of bottom. He's still dead. It's the Impetus from downtown. Oh no.
Astral Step is not a disjoint, ladies and gentlemen. He still takes the damage, and well, that is a hell of a shot from Burgos. Obviously, that was not the plan when he threw it out there, but if you get that far away, then bonus damage sort of matters a little bit more there. Now Aid, oh my god, Aid just lost half of his HP as Tib jumps in. Double King's going to move his way forward as well. There's going to be the Avalanche. The toss comes out now as well. They take down BGod, and Aid is still on the run. He's just going to get taken down by Burgos, and all it takes is one death on Kits. They're in a weird spot, and Mystery Machine just shoved their way forward, and now
oh no.
Will they check? Yes, they will. Tornado doesn't hit, but it gets them the vision. They've got the Nightmare. No. Do they have the Fiend's Grip? Not for 9 seconds. They have to hold him in position. Actually, at this point, And forget holding him in position. They might just be able to kill him. Empyrean is chasing alongside Shaggy. Molly Burgos comes in as well. And yeah, they find the kill. Now they can go even further. Overlom is going to be the one on the run. Impetus is going to kill him just yet. But at this point, Mystery Machine all of a sudden just swung a massive amount of kills in their favor, really onto the best possible targets as well.
Yeah, you take the fight bottom into a kill onto the Ursa in his own pit. He didn't even get to start it. It took so long for Scourge to make that decision, and now you wonder if we're really not finding our plays. I mean, Aid, when showing up bottom, did not think he was going to die. He walks past so many heroes there. We're also not seeing that split push despite Aid actually getting that fireball done pretty quickly here. It's where you wonder if we need things like BKBs on our heroes pretty much yesterday. It's not like you can really afford to do it on the Void Spirit, but on Aid and on Scourge, game is going to continue to get pretty ugly here. This is a pretty nice timing. If they could find Maliburgos, that'd be nice. And Maliburgos is a little bit psycho for just farming a creep wave uh, like
Oh,
that. But
interesting choice of positioning there. But see this Enchantress. Oh, hold on. We'll talk about that in a second because there might be a fight breaking out here. They're going to be able to get a little bit onto Overlom, but they do have to deal with Scourge here. The Yule Scepter throws him up in the air, but Aid pushes forward. Gets the stun down. Tib is in a little bit of danger. He's going to get slowed down, and he's just losing all of his health. They're actually just going to be able to pick him off easily, and TMM are a little too spread out at this point to mount an effective defense. Empyrean's going to fall. There's another stun in onto the Invoker, and Shaggy's not going to be able to get himself away. The tower won't protect him, and just like that, the cut, they strike right back, and, well, it starts with Molly Burgos being out of position. The rest of TMM don't sort of fall back when they have the chance, and the cut get 4 kills, and now they're right back into that Roche pit.
you would really hope TMM don't lose all their steam because of this, but I feel like this is going to be a free Aegis. You already have Maliburgos sending the creep over, but I feel like this is just a hair too fast. It's going to be in the next overpower. We're probably going to see the Roche go down. And yeah, there's no way for them to get here in time. This is a huge loss from them. This is a lot of that initiative that they were kind of building up towards gone in a flash. And now items like the BKB on Aid are only 2 components away. Blank Dagger finished up on Scourge. B-God is probably going to get his shard now. And I just hope Mystery Machine really check themselves here, check their opponents and see what they were able to get after that one fight. Because if they go onto the map as confidently as they were before, they're going to get burned hard.
Really do need to sort of try and regroup here. I think one of the biggest issues for them with that last couple of fights where they lost those 4 heroes was they did that with Double King clear on the other side of the map. So without the Tiny, you're not nearly as intimidating. With this lineup, you don't really have a front line outside of Tib, and Tib really was the first hero to fall in that larger engagement after Molly Burgos got picked off. So you take away the heal, you take away the front line, and the heroes that were left couldn't get away. So if Double King is in the fight, that's probably less of a concern, and Double King is going to have his BKB coming up relatively soon here as well, so Mystery Machine, no need to panic, don't need to maybe overcompensate at this point, but they do still need to be very careful, and they need to show some respect to their opponents. This is not that respect, though. Aid is going to jump right in, gets the stun onto Molly Burgos. Can they do this, though? Double King's going to try to push in, but without that Blink Dagger just yet, they need to clear him a path, and not really able to do so just yet, but at least they avoid a larger engagement.
And Aid committed. He has used the Elden Dragon form. And Pyrian, though,
Oh,
he's just showing in the wave. Oh, the supports are dying so quickly. Uh-oh.
Tyrion's already dead. Aether Remnant pulls Molly Burgos back in. The Enchantress will go down as well. And Double King, he's alacrity, but where is the target? There's no one in front of him. B-God, I guess, is here now, but by this point, it's not really enough to matter. Double King's just going to get taken down as Scourge joins the fight, blinks in, finds the kill. High Shaggy's the next target. Going to be able to stun him on the high ground. Molly Burgos, he's doing his best, but there's only so much that this Enchantress can do damage-wise. Shaggy, though, still trying to get away. Don't believe they have vision over him, so he might be able to make it out of here. The problem is, with him escaping, Molly Burgos has to basically sacrifice himself, so... But looked pretty good there in the second half of that fight, and... Well, Double King needs this BKB. That's kind of just step one.
Yeah, it's rough. It's a tough position to be in now. You are the team that just kind of has to sit by and wait. You have to get your items now. Your opponents that you were toying with for so long have the tools to actually fight you. and they still have to be careful on the cut. It's not like they can just throw themselves at their opponents and expect to win. It's been some nice initiations and reinitiations from Aid that have really been the beginning and the end for them. At the same time, B God getting that shard. He doesn't even have it in his inventory yet, but just the Veil and the blast offs, he just makes himself a target that you can't really be affording to stick around. And at the same time, now that you're not playing with that lead, even though they still have 4K net worth lead, it really is just the bottom end. That is an important kill, though. That's the grip. That's the overextension from kits. It's something, but it certainly is not going to fix that lost gold, that lost extra net worth that you would have had towards you. Even Shaggy needs to check himself. He needs some more items, some more real items here. He's got Boots of Travel, Midas, and Vessel. Probably need to see a BKB pretty soon.
Oh,
Uh-oh.
gets jumped instead. Aid gets in with the Dragon Tail. Do they have detection? Yes, they do. They come prepared this time, and they will find the kill. So, Jag gets picked off. Scourge is the one to find the kill. The question now, if you're the cut, what can you really do with this? Not in an immediate position to push out any of these lanes, so realistically speaking, they kind of just have to look for more kills, and they're going to try and track down Tib, but Overwhelm doesn't have any cancel.
Yep. One tough spot about being a Pugna in a tough Pugna world, but really now I think with this Aegis timing out in a minute here, this has just been great farming time for Scourge. That's really all he's needed to use this for. It doesn't feel like he needed to go for a BKB or anything among that sort. He can just kind of wait now. Second Aegis is going to be a little bit more important for the cut. Again, a lot of shards they need. Ursa specifically. Scourge does not want to be forced to buy it. He will if he really has to, but I think that's where would love to feel that overwhelming net worth. DK finally got his BKB though. And that's going to be the immediate glyph. You got to respect the Alacrity Tiny. He's about to be level 18 as well. It's going to be a very big Tiny on your tier 3 if you're not careful here. The cut could also very likely smoke up, going towards that bottom area of the map. They would love to find some picks to stall at their opponents now, but this is a serious game. Now you have to actually look at yourselves. You don't want to go too far. You've got BKB up on Aid as well. This DK could still break open the game wide open. If you get that DK stun, if you get that blink initiation, and suddenly it doesn't really matter. There's no force staffs. There's not really a lot of save on the Mystery Machine side. Support-wise, they've itemized for their own games. That's where Maliburger still needs to finish off his Hurricane Pike. And now with the smoke up, it's a really good scan, though, and it's scan in the lane, and they know that this isn't just Tib. Overwhelm places all the wards.
Oh, there's going to be the jump. Aid gets it. The stun's down onto Tib. Starting to dish out that damage. B-God, meanwhile, comes in, looking for the stun, connecting onto multiple heroes. Tib taken down. Aid's going to get traded as well, though, but Double King would be the real prize. They need to be able to get onto this Tiny. Scourge is going to blink his way forward, but he blinks into, well, a Fiend script that is very quickly canceled. That means Double King is still in some trouble. He'll win the fight against Scourge, but he can't win the fight against the rest of the Cuts lineup. They will take him down. They pick up 4 kills overall. And Molly Burgos is still here. I don't know if he wants to be. He's going to TP away, and hits won't spot him in time. So there's at least one survivor, but Stream Machine do lose a lot there.
Yeah, it's very expensive. They still end up as the actual losers of that fight, but at the very least, because of Empyrean's grip, you've got the kill on the Ursa. If that doesn't happen, you lose DK for pretty much nothing there. The rest of you get cleaned up. It wasn't even a full duration grip, but it was enough for DK to get another toss, another avalanche off on that Ursa. But that's where, unfortunately for Mr. Machine, I feel like the game is going to recenter around that pit. I feel like that's where we're going to see the cut take them, and that's where you do wonder to yourself, are we ready for this fight? Are we ready for what's coming next? You see them turning around itemization-wise. Tib needs that BKB. He needs to be able to stay a little bit longer in these team fights without having to worry. At the same time, Blink Dagger on DK, getting that initiation so that way maybe you can find the first kill onto the techies. Maybe you can find Overwhelm before that engagement actually happens, and then you could see them pull out an advantage from their opponents, but it's just not happening. They're just not finding the right targets first. I mean, any team fight in Dota where both supports get to survive till the very end is not a good team fight for you. And I honestly think, item-wise, they're making the right choices here, but it's very expensive. And as a team, there's no easy objectives left to take to get you that far forward.
It's going to have to sort of farm this out the hard way. See another push down to this bottom lane. This is something that they tried once before and did prompt a response. All right, they hit the Alacrity up onto Double King, and they're going to try and push their way forward. Kits, though, is here to sort of turn them back, and actually that's a lot of TPs coming in at this point, so the Cut really aren't messing around. They are going to try and hold this. Mystery Machine, really not in a great position to go any further. The Forged Spirits will at least get a little extra damage in, so it's going to count for something, but not quite the opportunity that they were looking for, because now it's nice that you force some of those TPs, but I'm not really sure what further movement the Mystery Machine can do that would actually take advantage of the fact that those TPs are not available. As middle lane, gonna get the Fiend's Grip onto Scourge. DK comes in looking for the damage. Scourge, though, doesn't care. Turns around, pops the ult. Tyrion's the one to fall, and now Double King actually just got hit up by the inhibit there from that Diffusal. He needs his Blink Dagger up. Can he get away? No, he can't. Scourge is still on him. He's going to give it another try, though. This time the Blink Dagger should come up, and he is going to be able to get away. So, oh, close call. Mystery Machine will keep their carry safe. If Kits had a little bit more movement there, he might have been able to catch. But as it stands, they're able to fall back. But that was a fight that they started themselves, right? The Bane sort of goes in with the Fiend's Grip, doesn't really manage to keep it on Scourge McDuck for very long, and talking about the BKB being a necessity for a Double King in this point. It still is. He does still need it, but if the Ursa's on him, if that 1v1 gets forced, Double King just doesn't win it.
Yeah, not anymore. It's where items like the Silver Edge, like the Orchid, maybe would have changed it as aid. Still has his BKB. There's no way he dies, but Mally Burgos is certainly going to get traded out here. High Shaggy really just needs to watch. He isn't able to do anything for his teammate. But yeah, that's where the Tiny versus Ursa, and there's no business why DK should be this poor right now. He should be farming the triangle more. He shouldn't be forcing himself into these fights, but I think very desperately they feel like they need to make these actions happen. It's where Scourge is starting to really overlap him here, and as an Ursa without a Battle Fury, without any farming mechanism, it's just not supposed to happen this way. DK should have another 5,000 net worth on top of his opponent here. Should be playing around Orchids, should be playing around having a silence. I mean, Scourge McDuck doesn't have a BKB, but there's no one itemizing in that way. At the same time, it's not like there's a halberd being built up by Tib either. He needs to focus on his own life so he can actually do damage in these team fights. So there's no one else helping you with this matchup. Alacrity, though, the buildings can still die. Might not be able to fight the Ursa, but you can certainly fight the tier 3.
Very nearly taking it down. Forged Spirits are going to keep that fight going, but it's not enough. Meanwhile, Kits Courier's bringing it to him, but he just finished off his Aghanim Scepter, so all of a sudden, life is not going to be as easy. There's Double King went in for the tower, and he got it, but now can he get out? Remnant's going to pull him back in. He's trying to hold the BKB as long as he can, and looks like he should be okay, so wasn't quite as risky as it initially looked there. But now, your tiniest TP'd, his BKB has been used, and Roshan is up in 5 seconds. Of course, Mystery Machine probably didn't know that at the time, but means that they have to a little bit careful here. Roshan has respawned. Scourge stepped out of the pit, actually just before it did respawn, so I'm not sure he's aware that it's up right now, but Burgos will get that vision for his team, and both squads will start setting up around the pit again.
Yeah, just kind of get to chill out now. I don't know, this next Roche fight, you have big items on Mystery Machine's side. No buybacks, but double BKB on both Tib and High Shaggy. Of course, DK does not have his for another 20 seconds, but he found a Titan Sliver, has the spider legs. A lot of damage. Scourge needs help. Oh my goodness.
Whoa. Very nearly able to take him down, but look at Kits getting in on that back line. He'll take down Molly Burgos, but the Fiend's Grip is there. Aid, though, blinks up, gets the stun, cancels it. Kits will still die, however, but now, oh my god, now they've got Double King exactly where they wanted him. They'll take him down. Empyrean in some trouble as well, starting to run low on health, but over on the other side, Tib really just kind of runs straight at him. They'll take down Scourge. There is a buyback, though. The Ursa will not give up on Roche at this point. He's too close to it. Really surrender it now, so Scourge is back into the fight. He's got Aid with him to help out, and can Shaggy time it? Tornado is in. That's a little bit early, and they're just not going to try.
Yeah, it's if you had a Blink Dagger on the Invoker, or Tib was able to somehow teleport himself a little bit closer to the pit, it happens, but it doesn't happen. It's an aggressive buyback, but a buyback that you're always going to make on that Ursa side. It doesn't really matter if you're dead for quite a while here. And you get the Aegis, you get the Shard, you get exactly what you want, what you need. Just not an ideal situation. And they did so much damage to him in the pit. They really made him scared for his life. That's where Overwhelm had to fix it. Sunstrike wouldn't have done enough damage to begin with, but close try. Not bad, not bad. But there is a problem we haven't had to see from the cut yet because they haven't gotten that far. But them getting onto buildings is a little bit difficult. Of course, you've got the Elder Dragon form, you have Aid, you have the Black Dragon now with the Aghanim Scepter flying out to him. But Aid is your tower damage. He is the one who's actually able to hit the buildings here. It's the issue of the Ursa. It's something that really Scourge cannot fix in his hero, in his kit, ever in the game. And that's where, if Mystery Machine need to, they can just start focusing down Aid specifically. Then you're not going to see those objectives taken after the fact. We haven't seen any objectives taken after the fact. All these fights have been on Radiant soil. It's where I think the cut might want to start making a few changes here. They need to start finding those picks near those Mystery Machine towers.
Yeah, the only objectives they've been able to claim are the tier 1's top and mid, and wasn't exactly in the aftermath of a team fight, as you were mentioning. That was just kind of earlier pushes some 20, 25 minutes ago, so haven't really been able to get back on that for quite some time, but well, see if the Mystery Machine can sort of keep it that way at this point, continue to buy time. Scourge went in for the Sanjin Yasha for himself, which, again, it's a little bit weird seeing the Sanjin Yasha come out as your sort of like 4th or 5th item, but it is going to make Scourge hit harder, be more durable, gives you a little bit more of that status resistance, which is already proving to be an issue for Mystery Machine to get through with his ult. So, got your Enrage, you've got a little bit more from the Sanjin Yasha, you have your Shard to give you a mini Enrage, so the window in which Scourge is actually vulnerable is pretty narrow.
Yeah, and look top, look at TK. He's waiting for Aid, and there you go. Oh boy.
That's a very dead Tiny. Ah. They're going to get a little bit more there. Okay. Empyrean was sort of hanging out on the backside as well. They'll pick him off, and boy, Mystery Machine, I mean, they're having some serious problems just keeping themselves alive. This burst potential coming out from the cut is more than they can handle, so not sure how you immediately fix that as Aid. Good instinct, not quite the right location as he blinks onto the high ground.
Yeah, don't really know. It's not even with Aid using his BKB. I feel like they're just not playing their lineup necessarily right. You need that Tornado, Maliburgos. Is he going to get taken down here? Actually missed the Remnant, but V-God is a god. You see how fast he puts those proximity mines down? That's insane.
He's able to jump right on in there to cancel out that TP. Kits gets the kill, and cut. Starting to look a lot more confident here. And start to catch up net worth-wise as well, which is kind of interesting to say, but take a look at their heroes. They are technically behind their counterparts in terms of that net worth, but if you were just judging on the way the past couple of fights have gone, you wouldn't really be able to guess that as, oh, Shaggy in some trouble.
Get lucky.
Disarm's there, Tornado's there, but again, that status resistance is going to matter. Scourge just keeps on chasing, and do not think they'll catch now. They don't really have the detection, and they're guessing in the wrong direction, but Shaggy has to run away. Meanwhile, Empyrean is waiting. This is a bait and a half if they try for it, and they won't. Okay. Double King did TP in, but he blinks away immediately.
Yeah, and well, if they really wanted to on the cut side, yeah, should just be running at this tier 2 mid. They don't have Glyph. You're able to get a lot of free damage here. Your carts are alive. It's where your lineup is a little bit easier. Shaggy is trying to be annoying, but...
Well, Tib? That's middle of a fight that he TPs into, pops his BKB and walks away, but I mean, you don't need the BKB if you just don't show up there at all. He wasn't going to save the tower, and there wasn't really any follow-up, so it's a bit of a head-scratcher there, but at least the Timbersaw gets away safely, but now the Cut are starting to sort of turn their focus back towards those objectives, back towards that map control that we were sort of wondering about, so get a tier 2 mid. They still have a little bit of time left on this Elder Dragon form, but their creep wave top isn't really in a position to push.
Yeah, and, well, they're looking for DK, though. They're meeting him here. This is
They have a
very
sentry.
smart. Yeah, this is how he's played the entire game.
Okay,
Hey.
there's the BKB. Double King will retreat for now. Actually, turning back around, yeah, that's not a good idea. He's just going to leave when he has the chance once he sees how many enemy heroes are there. But now, who can they get out? Double King will take the first TP, just gets himself up to the top lane. Empyrean, though, slowed up by the bomb. Scourge is able to blink in onto him for the kill, and Well, I think that's the only casualty that the Mystery Machine will sort of incur here, but it's still a rough game, right? The Tiny sort of sees that opposition and immediately has to find his exit.
Yeah, it's it's not pretty. It's not easy. At least he has the spider legs to make this split push a little bit more viable, and there is that avenue towards bottom where they did get the tier 3 of what feels like ages ago, but yeah, this Tiny is not really growing as fast as we need him to. It's kind of funny. At the same time, Tib has actually grown quite a lot. He's top net worth. He's been really farming, not really skipping a beat. And he's looking at a Wind Waker up next, which is an interesting choice, you know? Help out whoever gets DK stunned, which is going to be massive if he's actually able to farm it up in a reasonable amount of time. But that's where we are in an awkward pause almost of the game here. Everybody's looking for pickoffs. Nobody's playing as a 5-man unit. We're still waiting for Roche, so a lot of these kills don't matter. But Tib,
He's stunned. Scourge comes in. Abyssal stun deployed. Empyrean's going to come in, though. Drops down the Nightmare as well as the Fiend's Grip. That's enough to get Tib away, but yeah, B-God takes that opportunity to then just blow up Empyrean, so... The Bane has to sacrifice himself once again. Kind of the way that Dota is played nowadays, but while that happened, Double King got the tier 2 tower, and he'll TP himself into the bottom lane where they could potentially look to reinitiate here, but they can't actually catch anyone.
no, but okay. DK has made a choice. He's bought up for the Silver Edge. That's the damage that they could need to actually take out Aid. That pretty much cut his Dragon's Blood in half. Not going to have very much armor at that point, but no buyback now on the Tiny. If he loses here, it's not going to be your Blitzkrieg and getting your Ancient killed, but it's most likely 2 racks if you die on your side. And well, does he help Molly here?
I don't know if he can afford to. He's just going to back off with those spider legs, and they will leave the Enchantress to die.
Man, I feel bad for Molly. He was so confident before 10, 15 minutes into this game, and then this happens to him. 11 deaths.
Yeah, and now his item build looks a little unfortunate, right? Because when he was looking good, working towards that Hurricane Pike, he started progress on a BKB, but now you're getting pushed back more. The farming opportunities for the Enchantress are dwindling rapidly, and that item progression has kind of just come to a screeching halt. Brief attempt onto Kits there, but he's going to be able to walk it off. His teammates, meanwhile, just kept pushing down in that bottom lane. They got the tier 2. They're not going to go for the tier 3, however. They will hold off for now. I don't know about this smoke. I don't think you're going to have the time to really cross the whole map, and yeah, considering Mystery Machine are on your high ground right now, most of their heroes simply have to TP away, but they're going to try and take this fight. Double King losing a lot of that HP. He will pop the BKB, however, and try to fight his way through this, and they've taken down one. B-God will fall. Aid goes down as well. They hit him up with that Fiend's Grip, and he got the Tiny out of there, but now Scourge is going to arrive. Looking for some sort of kill. He's on to Empyrean. Hasn't finished him off just yet. The Nightmare even being deployed to put him under, and I don't think Empyrean gets away cleanly here. He should still die, but if he's the only one who goes down, Mystery Machine are going to be pretty happy with that one.
Yeah, no, that's a pretty massive win there. You don't really get any damage onto Double King. It felt like he was going to get Ethereal Blade popped by the techies yet again. But yeah, Scourge was so late to that engagement. He didn't have TP. He's the only one on his team that really had to walk, and because they go so far ahead of him, it gets a little bit ugly. But B-God, oh, the triple mine, Mallyburgos.
Oh,
well,
okay. Well, just deploys all of them. Mallyburgos gets taken down, and that does solve the untouchable problem. I don't need to actually right-click you. I can just blow you up instead, and, well, a second support kill there is going to allow the cut a little bit more space on the map, and they scout out Roshan. It's back up. Aegis Cheese and the Ag Synth all available, so honestly, if they scouted it out, if they knew right now, I think your Ursa could just get in there and take it before Mystery Machine would be ready to contest, but see it now. Will they have the speed? Because Mystery Machine are close, they just don't know that this is happening. Well, they'll know now.
And, yeah, Sunstrike hits, but oh, in the in-between.
Joker's going to try to push in. There is going to be the play. They're all the way into the pit. They need to be healing up the Ursa. That's exactly what the Pugna wanted to do, but the Eul Scepter puts him up in the air. Scourge, though, still ends up grabbing the Aegis. They will kill Double King instead of getting any sort of steal on the TMM side, and Tib is dangerously low. He's trying to back away. Kits wants to catch him and will do so with the Resonant Pulse. Imperia now going to get taken down as well, and this is getting into very dangerous territory if you're Mystery Machine. You just need any heroes to fall back, as Molly Burgos should be okay. The Invoker makes it all the way back to the base, but they just get the timing a little bit wrong there, and it cost them pretty heavily.
Yeah, DK just, again, didn't pop his BKB. Gets hit up by that B-God chain stun. You don't see the techies blast off from all the way on the other side of the Radiant Triangle, as they didn't know about Molly Burgos, but Shaggy's trying some hero plays here. I feel like Molly Burgos might end up getting cleaned up. He's actually a madman for right-clicking aid, but it looks like he's going to be able to find his way out there as Shaggy still pulls the creep wave. Unfortunately, this heroic play is only a setup if he's not very careful here, because there is a creep wave in mid. The backdoor is gone. Molly Burgos gets taken down, and now Shaggy has to BKB.
BKB activated. Where's his TP? He doesn't have it for one more second. He is dead. He has buyback, though, and at this point, kind of feels like Mystery Machine are going to need to use some of these buybacks. They don't want to use the Tinies, though. He's up in 15, but well, by the time they wait 15 seconds, I think they're losing that top lane of Rax.
Yeah, just hits. It falls in between that very awkward timing. You can't really buy back to stop them. You can't buy back to catch them. You're just going to have to wait it out. In the meantime, you lose everything. You lose your top melee racks. And now moving over to the mid lane, 40 seconds on Elder Dragon form. But your Ursa is just going to do the brunt of this work. They really need to find either the Techies or the Void Spirit. They can't really afford to take another fight where they just beat into the DK or the Ursa. It's just simply taking too much time.
Gets has his Lincoln's pop there, but nothing more than that. And oh, Mystery Machine, they're gonna get another shot at this, but the room for error is unbelievably low for them right now. And well, they're gonna get jumped in on right away. Molly Burgos dropped down, not dead yet, but they will still break through. Kits gets the kill. No buyback on that Enchantress, as he did just use it. And oh, there's your second lane of racks taken pretty easily, and Mystery Machine are no closer to mounting a defense.
Yep, backdoor gonna get taken out now. Now they're gonna look towards their final racks in the bottom lane. They're desperately trying to split push. Don't think there's really any item we could see them buy. They have to throw their bodies at their opponents here. The Tib is still desperately trying to make anything happen. Imperium waiting in the wings, and something has to happen. The Nightmare on the Ursa. Okay, Techies, Double King, he found him, but
A jumped the back line. He's trying to get some damage onto the Bane, so this fight is starting to split up already. But yeah, they are getting onto Scourge. Can they kill off that first life? Right now, the answer is looking like no. Double King's Lust, about half of his health. The Abyssal Blade coming through to stun him up as well. But there's going to be an E-Blade. Double King not dead yet. Still looking to turn onto the Ursa, and I think they take him down once. And they do it again, though. That's going to be the question. Scourge getting hit up. He's going to get hexed. He's force-staffed away from the Sunstrike, and Kits just able to jump directly onto Imperium. They'll take the Bane down. That Bane, though, does have a buyback. They're looking to reinitiate. Double King's going to push his way forward. The break goes down onto Aid. The DK's going to lose some health, but there's B-God in with the stun onto 3. BKBs were not available. Now they're sort of debating whether or not they really want to try and do this. The Hex is going to go down onto the Dragon Knight, but this has all been a distraction. Kit's going to rejoin the fight. Going in with Assimilate. They've taken down Empyrean again. And they're back onto the rack. Scourge says, listen, I want this objective. I will be taking it. He gets the melee racks. The ranged is going to have to wait, though, as he will show some respect to TMM trying to reinitiate. Tib not really going to be able to catch anyone with that shock rip. So TMM, they're not dead yet, ET, but they are on life support at this stage. Just 2 ranged racks, all that stand between the cut and grabbing those megas.
yeah, and I feel like for Scourge there, he decides that it's not worth staking the game here. We're going to just bank. We can't even get megas if we do stick around for this ranged Rex bottom. So it's a very simple play to just leave. And yeah, like you said, life support. They're out of buybacks. They're out of time. They're going to need to bait Double King and really get everything they can out of him. But it's the decrep, it's the double ethereal blade. The cut just have so many different tools for cutting that tiny after BKB. He's also just continuously forced to use it because of the threat of the DK Blink stunning him and then him getting 100 to 0 without feeling any of it. Not to mention during Dragon form having an AoE Dragon Tail. They're just playing with every tool in the book. There's not really a whole lot, I think, that you can do if you're Mystery Machine in terms of growing Not really seeing any more items coming out from anyone here. You'd love a refresher on Shaggy. You'd love Daedalus or honestly anything from Double King. He's looking at a Satanic, but he has to hold on to buyback firstly. And B-God looking for Maliburgos.
Well, doesn't get the kill himself, but Ade's able to get in there with the Breathe Fire to finish it off. Now they get the stun out of High Shaggy. The Invoker's just going to completely drop. Double King is in trouble as well. They stun him up. They take him down. That's going to be the GG called. Mystery Machine will throw in the towel. One last kill on the Tib there to close things out. In the cut, they start the day with 0 wins on their tally. They end the day with 2 wins. And they leapfrog over TMM, and for now at least, they are no longer the bottom squad.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, you know. What can you do? It's a tough game. I wonder what yeah, I was gonna say, win probability certainly thought Mystery Machine had it. I thought they had it. They really did have it, but it's just unfortunate. It all comes at that collapse in the mid lane. 2 or 3 kills ends up going into Roche, into an overextension, into Double King dying, realizing he's not as tanky as he really needs to be. Just stellar performances from both Aid and B God, specifically B God, the Techies player, just so obnoxious, finding and really setting up so many kills, so many 3 or 4 man silences. Then after the shard, always waits for the Veil Discord, but then once he gets that shard, oh, he's just a completely different beast. So many hopeless situations, so many late BKBs coming out. BKBs when you're on a quarter of your HP, where it's too little, too late. Just Mystery Machine. They had it. They had this game. It was their hope. They could have kept, I want to say, that power spike 10 to 15 minutes. They were so far ahead, but they lose grasp of it. It's why they're, the baby team in the situation. They're the lower div, the cutter the upper. It kind of shows here. They just were not able to play with the lead.
Yeah, that's it's very unfortunate for them because, like you said, they started out so strong, but just kind of mishandled that transition from the sort of early to sort of mid game stage, and that's all it takes. The cut, we're able to take advantage of it. You take a look at the stat lines across the board, double-digit kills for all their cores, 31 assists for B-God. As you mentioned, he was massive on that Techies, and well, this is the kind of performance for the cut that maybe starts to get you thinking a little bit about this team. They had not won any games prior to this point. It should be noted, though, they had only played, I think, 3 series. They were 0-6, and the series that they played were against some of those tougher opponents. So maybe this win, this 2-0 against a regional rival and a team that was in a similar position to them in the standings, is going to be enough to get them back on track, light a fire under them. Whatever cliche you want, but just lead to that improvement in their performance.
Yeah, cut upper bracket. Who knows? Like you said, they did lose to the I want to say the bigger boys here. They lost 2-0 versus Infinity. You lose 2-0 versus Wildcard. Those are the scary guys. Even 2-0 versus Osmium. Of course, Osmium's sitting in the middle, but now that those are out of the way, they can certainly look for maybe a comeback. Now the cut in upper bracket, that's where we have a few more matchups where they are closer to those other teams that we'll have to see play out. But yeah, anything can happen. Think the techies looked really good. Think if there's one thing maybe teams take away from this, maybe it's worth getting that respect ban, even though B God, he has really been, I think, that big playmaker on the cut. He's been the one overshadowing most of his other peers, especially in his position.
And yeah, I mean, as strong as some of those supports are, right? The Pugna, the Bane, the Io, the Coddle, uh, teams know what they want to do to try and deal with those supports in particular. The techies in B God's hands may be a little bit more of a wild card that wary of having, but we'll see how that plays out. The Cut certainly have more ahead of them, so see how those future opponents choose to deal with. For now, however, they walk away with the 2-0 victory, and is going to do it for the day. That was our final match, so we are going to be heading on out of here in just a couple more minutes. So a trio of 1-1 splits, followed by the cut, sort of breaking the mold there and getting that 2-0 victory for themselves. So before we sort of shut things down and say our goodbyes, ET, any closing thoughts on today's games?
I really thought for a second. I was like, yeah, I guess it was all 1-1s. It should have been all 1-1s. I'm gutted, to be honest, just seeing Mr. Machine go down. But hey, look at that Shaggy guy. I don't think he lost a lane in all those tough games. He really I don't know. It's kind of sad. But hey, tune in tomorrow. We'll still be here. Our old carcasses. We've got some fun games tomorrow. I think those are where a lot of that pack is going to get decided. I'm looking at it right now. Osmium Infamous. That's probably going to be your heavy weighted series, as well as Nouns versus Sakuri. Those are going to be the ones that you really are going to see that decider, as well as even in the matchup that I think is not going to have too much relevance until those games are played out. Cut versus Dogchamp could be your NA squad pulling ahead and maybe getting a little bit of an advantage, because at the end of the day, it is going to be a numbers game. If you get 2-0'd a few too many times, then it really ends up mattering who you got 2-0'd by. And that's where, well, we could see one of those alley-oops, as we like to say, when it comes to that upper bracket seeding.
Never know what can happen when we're starting to get into the maybe back end of the schedule. So we'll be back tomorrow afternoon to see how things unfold, see who can separate themselves in that sort of midsection of the pack, as ET was saying. So yeah, tune in tomorrow. We're going to be starting at the same time, 1 p.m. Pacific time. So hope you can join us for some more North and South American Dota. But for now, we are going to be getting out of here. So for myself and ET, and for Nina, who actually pulled double duty today, he was both our production manager and our admin. So there's a shout out for carrying the crap out of the today. Thank you very much, Nina. Thank you to all of you, excuse me, for watching. Hope you enjoy the rest of your evening, and we'll see you tomorrow.